Should be
All right.
good, though.
Welcome, brother.
Welcome.
guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know we've hanged out a couple times already, but today is the spotlight's on you, bro.
Yeah.
You've been grinding. So, Chris, can you tell us like what are you currently doing now, and what's the peak months? Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
bro.
So currently, right now, I am on a triage call offer.
Okay.
So I'm basically an SDR for them. It's for
Nice.
a B2B service. So basically, what we do, just to give you some background on what exactly the offer is, we help business owners get business funding through business credit card stacking. So it's kind of like 0% interest for about 12 to 18 months. That's kind of what
Nice.
we leverage there. And then,
Dang, I might need that, bro.
I mean, honestly, you probably could, because it's 0%. I mean, we get different business owners, like depending on your credit score, they can get upwards of like 150, 250 grand in just credit cards.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only downside that some people see is usually the terms, since it's like 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're lenient or wanting to be on the side of like a regular loan, like a SBA loan, that are years long. That's kind of the usual downside, but it's good because I mean, business owners looking for money. I mean, who isn't really looking for money?
No, 100%.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, and then last month, I know you did pretty well last month.
Yeah, it was my peak month. Every other month, so I've been in the offer since November. I've officially started taking calls in December.
Yeah.
My peak month was 4.1K, which was last month.
Yeah.
And then every other month was 3K.
3K.
Yeah. One of them was 3K in January, 2.9 in February, and then 4.1 this month.
And then where are you projected for this month?
Right now, so we're kind of, since we were onboarding,
the closer?
Yeah. So we're basically, to give you guys some background as well, we basically went from 20 onboarding 20 people a month to 70 to 80, which was last month.
Shoot, okay.
So we kind of had to expand like the whole offer. We kind of had to expand the whole back end.
Yeah.
We had to bring on another closer.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, we've just been expanding. So this month, it started off slow, but we just started ramping up ads.
Yeah,
and we're running YouTube ads now.
Nice.
So we have
a really
YouTube.
good offer then. Like it's very stable.
Yeah,
it's consistent.
Yeah, thankfully. So
yeah.
I'm just trying to stick it out. Unfortunately, I don't think it would be an offer where I can kind of scale myself.
Yeah.
Only because the sales rep that are taking the sales calls, they're like on the older side. They're like 30 to 40.
So you can't really transition to closing. That's why I introduced you to that other offer,
exactly.
right?
And that was good. I kind of pointed that out on the Loom video that I submitted to him, because that was something that resonated with me, because that's kind of where I feel I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Only because a lot of the sales reps that are taking the calls, they have like financial advisor like background.
Yeah.
So they know how it is. They're kind of like more experienced in terms of like the banking system and all that.
Yeah.
And me, 19, I don't really.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
So.
And again, like, even though you're in that offer, you've acquired a lot of good experience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
100%.
I always tell our guys, you don't have to stick at one offer.
Yeah,
you don't need to get married to one offer, right? So you can, whatever you put yourself as to flourish, which offer will give you the best opportunity, right? And bro, Chris, like, tell us, like, so how did you get into this entire thing, man? Like,
so this all started, I'll go like to the very, very beginning.
Yeah, let's go to the beginning, bro. Let's start at the beginning.
I started, the whole reason, like, my whole entrepreneurship or wanting to like get into remote work started was, so my junior year, first year, my first job, it was a 9 to 5. It was working at a movie theater.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and I was working at a movie theater. It was cool only because I was working with my friends. Like, the only reason I got in there was because my friend had worked there. I got in there, and then it was multiple of us, and we would all work like the same shift. It was cool. We're young, we're just being dumb. But as time went on, I kind of got exposed to like being able to like take different avenues.
Yeah.
And one of the main things that I always knew in the back of my head was, after high school, like, college wasn't my thing, because school, like, in general, honestly, the main reason I graduated the way I graduated was like the top of my class was literally just for my mom, because she was always like lenient, like, okay, like, you're doing good in school, blah blah blah, like, then you'll go to college.
And
after, I was only on board with the high school because it was like one of the things I needed.
But
whenever she would speak about going to college, I always in the back of my head, I was always like,
I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not going. Like, it's just not something that catches my attention. But alongside that, after working at the movie theater, I then started working at a restaurant.
Okay.
It was like a fast food truck. It was like a food truck.
Okay.
And now I got into that through one of my brother's friends who actually owns that business.
Yeah.
But I started working there. I was working at the movie theater, that taco truck.
Yeah.
And then I was also doing sports. So I was like really drained. And then that's when I knew, I was like, okay, this is not what I want to do. Like, I would at least want to have some time for myself.
Yeah.
And not just always be training, not just going to, like right after school, straight to work. Like, 100%. And I never really had time. And then when I'd get home, I'd straight to doing homework. Just wasn't something that.
It's just not like you can't foresee yourself doing it the next few years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So right now, how old are you again?
I'm 19.
So you're 19 years old, and you got into high ticket sales when?
In January of last year, thanks to you. Okay. This happened in November. So November, I started seeing your videos.
Yeah.
And then I would always be saving them.
Okay, I'm actually curious. What was your first thought when you saw? Which one is it? And then like, what was your first?
It was the one talking about just high ticket closing and appointment setting in general.
The one that blew up.
Yeah, the main one that blew up.
Yeah,
that was the one that popped up on my For You page. This was at the time. It popped up on my For You page whenever I would be starting to like look at different avenues. Because as I said, I didn't see myself being in those jobs long term. So that's when I would start looking at different avenues. Yeah. That's when SMMA was a really big thing.
Yeah, bro, it was popping.
Yeah, like there was that.
SMMA drop shipping.
Yeah, drop shipping was out there. And I would always have these conversations with my friends. And they would hear me out, like, of me not wanting to stay in a job.
Yeah.
They would say the same things. But I don't know. I just feel like me as a person, like, I just knew.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't something I was going to do.
Right.
So after seeing your videos, I would be scrolling. They would be popping up consistently. I would just be saving them and be like, okay, I'll get into this in the future. Okay. And then
what's one thing that you were like, okay, you know what? High ticket sales is what I wanted to do.
The main reason was in one of your videos as well, you had stated that sales was a good way to just getting into the whole business space in general.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everything is revolved around sales.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the main pinpoint of it. So, seeing that, it was like, okay, someone coming like from zero experience like myself, never been in any type of sales at all.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, I can get into this space by just kind of like learning from someone who's done it already.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take a look into it. And then that's when I booked in a call. Dude, when I booked in my call, I literally called up my friends. I was like, dude, like, I'm about to get some free training, like a consultation with this guy. I was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't wait, dude. I'm like, this is something I really want to do.
Yeah.
I hopped on the call. It went how it went.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm glad I took the step because looking at it now, like, I literally just to make that first payment.
Yeah.
One, mid-call, I had to go tell my mom that I was literally what I was doing, and she was like, "Oh, you have to be careful with scams, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
But I mean, coming from like an immigrant family,
100%,
like immigrant raised, I could see why, especially the college perspective.
1,000%.
So I definitely see that. But dude, literally, I took out everything I had, like my savings, straight to the checking, and then I did what I did to get to.
By the way, guys, some context. He was still in high school. He was in senior.
Yeah, I was 17. I was 7, so I got in January.
Yeah.
January 7th to be exact.
And there was a time and point where you're kind of like, hey, I just want to finish my high school years first before I go all into this, right?
So after getting into that, I was 17. I turned 18 in February, but I got into when I was 17. Literally took everything I had to get in. And then there was a point where it was kind of just a more mindset thing of me, myself, honestly. Just like using excuses in a way.
Yeah.
Because I was in school. I was doing sports, but in reality, I still had time to do it. It's just the fact that I think it just took definitely a more mature mindset.
100%. You have to like, bro. That's why I always tell you guys, right? You have to kind of kill your old self for you to get into this and actually get results, right? Because if you would, bro, like I'm telling you right now, when we started taking calls or hopping on a call with you, and I would see you in the coaching calls, right? I would always hint to some of the guys. I literally sold my gaming PC and all of the other stuff. And because I'm telling to the guys indirectly that like, look, you have to kill your old self for you to get into this and actually get results. And that's exactly what you did right recently. Like, I look at your background, it's clean, you know, you got a nice mic and everything. And now you're living the higher self off of you, right? And it's just going to be up from here. And obviously it's not going to be like, you know, easy, you know,
of course.
Even now, right? It's still like, okay, you're still on your toes, you know, you have to execute every single day. But for you, what would you say was, you know, the biggest turning point? And like, I guess like, what was the struggles that you were facing? Like we were saying, right? One of them was mindset. And then what's one thing that helped you to overcome that and get to where you're at now?
Yeah, the main thing behind it all, I would say, was definitely just, I would want to base it around thankful for God, honestly, because I feel like I would put like my path onto Him.
Right.
I knew that I would be like, I might not be where I want to be right now, but as long as I trust Him, I would be like slowly getting to where I want to go.
Right.
One of the main things I struggled, mindset was one of the big things that I struggled with, just because like senior year, you know. So this is how it all transitioned. Like, you know, in high school, everybody says, oh yeah, senior year, that's where like you start laying back. That's where you just start relaxing.
The senioritis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at first,
I remember that.
Like at the beginning of high school, I would always think, I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't get that. Like, there's no point. But literally after sports ended, I didn't really need to keep my grades up. I kept them up just to graduate.
Yeah.
Like where I needed to graduate.
Yeah.
Like kept my GPA up all the way as high as possible.
Yeah.
But then again, I would always be like very lenient. Like, I would get all my work done. I would pass everything. But like, the more I think about it now, during class, I would always be on my phone. I would be sleeping in class. Like, literally never really paying attention. Although I did like literally pass like one at the top of my class.
Yeah.
I would see that would kind of like transition into how I came into the space now, and that's what I had to kill, because not only did whenever I'd like wake up to like put in some work, I would always be like really laid back into it. I wouldn't like just pinpoint focus, know what I'm gonna do that day. I wouldn't wake up with the right mindset. I would either just roll out of bed, start working, blah blah, and then I'd get some stuff done. And then since my bed was literally right next to my my workspace, I would get some work done, and I was like, okay, I'll just get some later, and then I'd just go
back to sleep.
Either go back to sleep or lay down on my phone. And I realized that throughout my first year, that's usually what that's not usual. That's literally what I did throughout that whole entire first year.
Yeah.
And it got toward the end of so right when I graduated, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go all into this now that I have no worries of school. And that's like when I started transitioning into this, getting into that mindset of just laying down, blah blah. And then it got to a point where the work ethic was so bad that I wasn't bringing in anything, and I didn't have anything in my bank account.
Yeah, and then your mom were like, right, I remember that. Yeah.
And it got to that point, and on top of that, like in August, it was in August, I literally wasn't making anything, although I was still on offers, but I just wasn't doing anything. Yeah. That was kind of where I realized that, okay, like if I really wanted to get where I wanted to get, it's not doing this every day.
Yeah.
It's not.
What was the change? Like, you go into your phone every day and kind of just.
Yeah. It was the main thing behind it all was the fact that I would kind of tie it back to why I started. Like, I got started to, like, kind of, like, not, go to, like, the 9 to 5, which is, like, everybody's thing. But it really hit me hard because what I saw in myself is that if I kept it up, I would go back. And all this would just be for waste. So gaining all that experience my first year, if I kept up doing the things I would do, it would be like, I forgot where I saw it, but I'm not sure if it says in the Bible, but it was that the opportunity will come. It was somebody that I saw a video. It was like a podcast. And they were saying that the right opportunity will come, but you're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah,
and I knew that, big. And that right there was one thing. I was like, okay, that right opportunity is gonna come. I'm gonna finally have the opportunity to scale to where I want to go.
Yeah.
But being like this, laying down, it's not gonna work. Like I'll get kicked off. Like
right. Yeah. No, and bro, like it's going back to even when Judgment Day comes, right? It's like one of those things you need to be ready. Exactly. Be on your toes.
Yep, that's exactly
right. It's like you'll never know when it's gonna come. So if you can relate it back to how you operate in a day out basis, you have to be on your toes, because if the opportunity is right in front of your face, but you're not ready, right? Then
it'll be all for waste.
It'll be all for waste, and you've seen it, in the community. They have the right opportunity, but they weren't ready, or they did not prepare for it. Mm-hmm. It's like those, it's like the Olympians, right?
Yeah.
They prepare for one event for 4 years to execute, right? And then what are the preparations have you done for that one event?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, we just kind of like take it for granted. Oh, I'm not going to do my work because I don't have anything to do right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the mindset of majority of people, which is not wrong. But to get results in anything, right, you have to constantly prepare yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing for, when you're getting into this space, right? Like the main focus is, I always tell you guys is like, if you're a complete beginner, get experience first and work on yourself, because that's what I did, bro. Yeah. Like, so for you, man, what would you say was the biggest thing that helped you in terms of joining the program, right? What was one thing that you were like, okay, this really helped me a lot to get where I'm at?
Definitely, it would be just all the just the roadmap in general of you explaining like the sales process, like how everything works. Just because someone like me, literally just coming from a regular 9-to-5, fresh out of high school, and getting into like the whole sales space, which is a whole completely different thing than working like
100%
like a restaurant, like a concession type of job.
Yeah.
It's very different, and I think that was one of the main things that I kind of had to adapt to, and kind of had to understand that there's others that might have faster results to me, but the thief of comparison is joy.
100%,
the thief of joy is comparison. Sorry,
right, 100%, bro.
And seeing that there was like people that were coming into the space, like scrolling Twitter, everybody is getting started like
a few months, and then like
months later than me getting faster results. But then again, like I didn't want to compare myself, but although I was.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely, but just to tie it back, the roadmap was definitely one of the main things that definitely helped me, just because, experience in general.
Yeah.
You would always say, like what you just said, work on yourself, just gain experience, because that's basically what's needed
100%,
to
bro.
like grow in the space.
Yeah, 1,000%. Bro, like I think it's every entrepreneur who gets into the entrepreneurial space is always like that. They get into a program, they see the Wins channel. Yeah. And they're kind of like, bro, why am I not getting results? And all of these guys are like crushing it, right? And that's frustrating, because it's like you don't want to compare yourself, but as human nature,
you still do.
You still do. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing is, when I was experiencing that a couple of years ago, when I got into this entire thing, I just deleted the app and I just like did what I need to do, right? So that's what I did. I says, okay, I'll just delete it, because if it's distracting you, or if it's causing you to compare yourself, then you need to eliminate it and just focus that energy that you have to actually take action to get the result that you want, right? And again, I always say this, it's like, well, I heard this from Sam Ovens. This guy is like very big in the online space, but he's the one who built Skool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Sam Ovens, he talks about there's a business owner and there's civilians, right? So civilians are people who works regular 9-to-5 job, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? But he says like there's certain characteristics and behaviors people have when you're entering entrepreneurship. So for example, you invested into yourself, like what you're saying, you still have characteristics from that civilian mindset getting into entrepreneurship. Yeah, exactly. And those are the things that you need to eliminate to get out of the civilian mindset and become a business owner. And again, skill set is sales, and then eventually you'll have more and you'll definitely do more.
Yeah.
And for you, bro, like what's your goal right now? Like, what are the next steps for you?
Definitely for me right now is, like, all my experience so far right now is just in the setting aspect.
Yeah.
So I would definitely want to take that step forward into actually taking the sales calls myself instead of booking people into the sales calls. I would want to book them in for myself if that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm also like, I'm glad that I, started with zero experience and starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
Because now the one thing that really stuck with me that you said, like, always in the beginning when I first got started was, like, becoming a closer, sometimes if you don't have the setting experience or you've never set before, it could kind of like have a backlash on you in a way. Just like, it could depend on the type of person you are as well.
Yeah.
But you could take the calls for granted.
100%, bro.
You would just not do anything until your call is up.
Yeah.
And not kind of like realizing what it really took for that call to be on your calendar.
1,000%, bro.
I think that's definitely the next step would be right now would to finally take this next step into getting into closing.
Right.
And I definitely think I'm in the position to kind of do it now.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no reason
There's no reason, right?
Yeah, there's no reason I shouldn't, especially like where I'm at now and where I've got myself, what I've eliminated in the past that has got me here. I'm not saying that there's still stuff that I don't need to eliminate. Of course, there is still stuff that I still have to kill off that civilian part of me.
Well, can you share to us, like, what are some things you're still working on right now?
Yeah, some of the main things that are still working is kind of just being able to, like, get into deep work without being distracted.
We might have to cover that in our next calls.
I definitely think that it's not necessarily that I'm distracted, but I think I just have habits that I've built past the years that are just still stuck on me that I know I need to break.
Right.
Or else I can't get to where I want to get.
Yeah, 1,000%. Again, it's normal though, right? Because what's good is now you're able to identify those things, right? And because there are a lot of people where they become the identity or the habit or the action or the experience they've had, they attach their identity to that habit, right? But if you're able to detach yourself from saying, hey, that habit of mine was my old self and that is not me, that doesn't define who I am, right? Then you're on your way to growth, because if you're able to identify it, that's good. So now the next steps now is just like being aware constantly when it comes up, and then having a SOP per se, right?
Yeah.
When it comes up. And again, it doesn't matter wherever level you're at in the game. Even the biggest names in the game still experiences it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that's part of what's necessary to kind of, and I feel like that definitely dishes out the ones who want to make it and the ones who just say they want to make it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's some that, like, oh yeah, you want to get into, entrepreneurship, but they don't really, like, once it comes down to it, they're not willing to kill off their old habits to really, like, excel into where they want to go.
100%. What would you say in terms of if someone wants to get into high ticket sales right now, coming from you that was a complete beginner, didn't know what you were going to do, was trying to pick, like, maybe someone is also watching this, is like, I don't know, like, which one to go to. Like, how did you decide it was the high ticket sales? And if they decided they want to get into high ticket sales, what would you tell them the next steps that they should take? Yeah,
for me personally, as like that kind of determined the fact that high ticket sales was one of the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah,
was just because the main aspect, to tie back to what I had said previously, of just sales being a good way to get introduced to, like, the whole space itself.
Right.
Like, a lot of things are based around sales.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the one thing, like, knowing how the sales process works, I definitely feel like it's what's needed.
100%.
Then again, to that, the ones who want to start, coming from, like, like, literally being a kid, is definitely, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't want to, like, determine it on the fact of know what you're getting yourself into, but then again, like, kind of don't be scared. Like, if you want to do something, just do it. Yeah. And throughout your journey of you doing it, you'll kind of realize, okay, maybe this is for me, maybe this isn't for me. And that, I feel like that's what a lot of people realize when they get into the space. Yeah. And when they want to take their step into entrepreneurship, they realize how hard it really is. And that's kind of what dishes out whether you want to do it or you just go back
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with going back at all.
Yeah.
Like working 9 to 5, like
nothing wrong.
Like you're still working.
You're
like,
still working.
Like you're still grinding. Like congrats. But
yeah.
like you know, there's two different types of people, as you said, like the business owner and the civilian.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like getting into the space, it'll definitely help you determine that for yourself.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like don't be scared to do it. Like invest in yourself.
Yeah.
If anything, that's what's gonna help you realize what you need to do.
Yeah.
You're not gonna really realize these things by just getting into like free stuff. It'll help.
It'll help. Yeah.
But doing like investing in yourself and actually getting you into like that mindset of being uncomfortable, like you've never done anything like that. You've never invested in yourself, and it shows.
Yeah.
It shows that like you haven't, because not having invested in myself personally, I would have never realized that I could have done the things that I've done now.
Yeah.
I would have still been, working that 9 to 5. And it's just me as a person. Like I knew I wouldn't do it, and it wasn't for me, but that's just me as a person. Everybody has their own reasons.
Yeah.
But I definitely think, just to like answer the question briefly of like what one should do when they want to see like get into the whole space.
Yeah.
I would say like it definitely is dependent on the person, but
I agree.
I would say I would honestly just say that you should know, like you should have like a general idea of okay, maybe this will be for me before you even get into it.
Like who do you think is this for? Like, because again, I always tell the guys like everybody could get into sales, but not everybody, it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
It's like, so for you, like what are the type of person would you say that hey, like if you're this type of person, you should definitely consider sales?
I definitely think those with a sport background.
I agree too. I have sports background.
If you're coming in like fresh out of high school, if you had sports background, I definitely think
you crush it.
Yeah. But like to somebody that has graduated already, it's kind of just dependent on yourself. Like you kind of think of what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, like do I like do stuff consistent? Like if I say I'm gonna go to the gym, do I do it?
Yeah.
Like you don't really have to just always tie it back to, you can tie it back to working out, because working out I definitely feel is something that is dependent on kind of showing your mindset of how you care about yourself, how you care about your body, the way you look, all that type of thing. And I definitely think the ones who are kind of like athletic, this is definitely like something for you.
Yeah.
Because
I agree
that you will put in the work. Like
it's the same concept, right? The more reps you put in, and
exactly, it's literally the same concept.
Yeah, you'll be able to do the routes. You'll be able to
you'll
do the form.
Start,
right?
Like you'll be on the starting lineup.
Yeah, 100%.
Being benched.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's the same concept, right? It's like at the beginning, maybe you play at the C team, and then eventually you graduate to JV level, and then eventually you'll want to become a varsity player, and maybe more than that after, right? And then how do I become a starter?
Yeah.
Right. How do I get more playing time? It's the same thing, same concept.
Exactly.
It's the same thing in sales. That's why I said, like, if you have a sales background, it's really good for you if you want to get into sales. But I would say anything that if you're completely obsessed on something and you will remain consistent to it, like the transition is gonna be definitely smoother. Like that's why it's better. But I wouldn't also shy away if you really want to become an entrepreneur and start your own business. Sales is the best, right? Because there's a book that I recently been reading called Ready, Fire, Aim, and he talks about how, again, every business needs sales, and your main focus is not even product development. It's not about having the best website, best branding. It's like, can your product sell?
Yeah.
And then if your product sell, what should be your main focus to get this to $1 million a year? Well, sell more. That's the main focus, right? So it's a skill set in itself. That's why I always say to the guys, so stack up cash here, and whenever you're ready, you feel like you've learned the understanding, you can start your own mini agency, or you can now go out there and start, your brand, sell a product. But now you have a better understanding on what a successful business is.
Yeah, right? And to tie it back to what you just said of that, not even just having like an athletic background or sport background, of you just being obsessed with something. That's kind of what I was kind of trying to hint at. It just depends the type of person you are. Because if whoever, like, no matter where you come from, if you're obsessed and you want to do something, you'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it takes, no matter what, like, you will achieve what you want to achieve, as long as you know that's what you want.
I got a couple more questions, bro. But like, what would you say is like the biggest mistake people have when they're trying to get into this space? And it's like, yo, bro, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock. Right? Like, they try to like get into, but I can't land an offer, bro. Like, this sucks, bro.
Mindset.
Like,
I would say mindset. I would say they're so stuck on seeing like all these people on social media, like all the money they make, and they try to think they're that person without having done what they have done. And not everyone's gonna know. Like, you can see, like, everybody wants to start up their own SMMA agency because of Iman Gadzhi. And they're like, oh yeah, they're gonna make all this money. But they didn't do what he did before. Like, I'm pretty sure he
did a lot of inner work, bro.
Yeah. Like, he would be constantly selling stuff.
Bro, he was doing. The thing is, okay, I was a big Iman fan, like when starting off too. But bro, he would read a book a week, and then like he played sports and he did bodybuilding too, and he would sell gym training.
You see,
right. So he was already selling, and he sell the soccer team to do their social media management.
Yeah,
he was already selling a bunch of stuff, right?
Exactly.
So it's not overnight. You can't just start a business if you don't have the skill sets.
And I think that's why like mindset is a very big thing. If you think that once you get into a space tomorrow you're gonna be a millionaire, it's not gonna work like that. Like, and same thing with like of you like not being able to land an offer. Yeah, like you have everything that's needed for you to land an offer. Yeah, but you can only do so much with that. Yeah, you need experience regardless. Like, you're gonna, as I said, like, you're gonna land the perfect opportunity, but you're not gonna be ready for it. Yeah, because you've never done it before. Mm-hmm. And those who say that, oh, I can't land an offer, can you really not? Or
you're just not trying enough.
Or you just not trying. Because if you really want to, you will land. Like, no matter what, you'll send messages to every damn business owner on social media.
Yeah, on the planet Earth.
Exactly. If you really wanted to roll, and you will land something. Yeah. There's, like the thing that we just the dual fuel thing. Yeah. With Devontae. Yeah. Like, literally, I was talking with Scout, and he was saying that there's more business owners out there looking for
sales reps.
Yeah, looking for sales reps than there are sales reps looking for an offer. Yeah. And if you put that in perspective, just like, it just goes to show, like, if you really want to land something, you will.
You will, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Every time I hear this excuse, I think it was Top G, Andrew Tate, that said this, bro. There's two type of people that said they've tried everything. Like, I've tried everything. I've messaged the people. I've done this. I've taken a risk in this. Yeah. I've tried everything I can, but I just couldn't. Mm-hmm. And there's that. And then he would say, like, bro, if you truly tried, like, you could look at your face and you say you've tried, you would never fail. Yeah. If you really tried your best, you will never fail.
Exactly.
It's the same concept with the entire thing. It's like, oh, I've tried. I've sent messages. Like, okay, well, how's the messages? You just start, auditing yourself. Like, okay, how is the messages? How many messages? Where am I sending the messages? Yeah. Am I surrounding myself with the right people, right? And then all of these factors in if you can land an offer, right? Yeah. And again, if you, that's why it's like, maybe some people say it's luck. Oh, yes, luck plays into it, but luck also involves around the preparation, right? Yeah. So, it's preparation meets opportunity. That's what luck is. So it's the same concept, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's just like, it's so hard to land an offer. Bro, right now, I would say it's probably like one of the easiest ways.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
To land an offer.
Landing an offer is the easiest thing right now.
Yeah. Because, bro, like, there's more, the growth operator people. Yeah. They literally made it much more easier for closers to just have, inbound calls, inbound leads right here, right now. But again, you wouldn't be able to see that or filter out the right offers for you if you have no experience or you don't have the right eye to see on what a good offer is.
Yeah, and I think the eye definitely plays a part as well because, everybody transitioning into online, like everybody trying to get into remote work and all that, they see, okay, OTE, 5 to 10K a month, and the like literal business is only doing like not even 50-30 grand a month.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, oh yeah, OT. Yeah, there is bad offers out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So can you shine some light on this? I think, again, the reason why I want to ask from you directly is because you literally came from no experience.
Yeah.
No sales experience. So I would say your opinion has more validity. Because it's like, bro, you start from scratch. For me, I've done drop shipping, marketing agency, and all that stuff. So maybe like, oh, you've done those. So it's an excuse that they make. Oh, you've done those things. So it was easy for you to get into this. So for you, like, okay, what's a bad offer? And how did you get to your offers, right?
Yeah, so I definitely think one of you just being able to see like the way the business is structured in general. Like, do they have like a sales team? Like, is it to the position where they have a sales manager?
Yeah.
Like managing the whole team.
Yeah.
Like, what is the owner doing?
Yeah.
While you're doing whatever you're doing in the business.
Right.
And I think that definitely all ties back to, do they have good systems set in place?
Right.
Or is it something that is just started and the owner doesn't want to do what he's making you do?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he doesn't have the time but then again, if they don't have the time, that's because they're still growing the business, which
100%
is what they should be doing all the time. They should always be working on the business. But there is times where I think some of the business owners to think that they're in need of a closer or setter, when in reality
they don't need it. They don't need it. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what that kind of could play a part on why it could demotivate some, even though you shouldn't be relying on motivation at all. I definitely think it could play a part on why you think that it could be harder because of what you've been on. But I mean, I've been on
a lot of offers. Right.
I've been on plenty, and it all land on the fact of, okay, like, how is the team doing? What are all the other people doing? Like, is there communication between everybody?
Yeah.
Like, you can really see that, like, after a week of being on the offer.
Yeah.
Like, get onboarded, see how the whole team operates, see if they're on top of things.
Yeah.
And you can determine whether or not this is something I want to stick
with. Again, not being married into one offer, right?
Exactly.
Like, see how it goes the first 2 weeks, and if you didn't make commission there, and you don't see the vision, then okay, cool, just leave.
Yeah, of course. And another thing that what was I gonna say? Is a team, and that was kind of what I based mine.
How well is the team operating?
Yeah, and I would always put that on every application. I would always say that the team is a big aspect of me determining whether I stay with you or whether I leave.
Yeah,
because an offer where everybody is just to themselves isn't really like somewhere where you want to be.
Yeah, 100%, bro. You need to have a really good sales team. I recently spoke to this guy. He ran a tattoo agency, and they were doing like 2.3 mil a month on cash collected.
Yeah,
and he told me like the biggest thing on why they were able to hit those numbers because of the culture that he cultivated, right? And then if you don't have that culture, the churn rate of the sales reps is extremely fast. So, for example, if he sees the sales dropping down, he would say to his team, pack your stuff, we're going to Mexico or whatever, or just bring your dialer there. We start dialing there.
Yeah.
Right? Again, it's the culture that's being built, right? That's why it's so important, team.
Yeah.
To be actually well. Because again, sales, it's kind of like one-on-one, but I would say it's like a team sports too, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like it literally has the same aspect of a sport.
Yeah, you have the coach, right?
Like you have the coach, which is it could be either the sales manager teaching you what you need to fix, or maybe even you're at the point where it's just the owner, the offer of the owner. And you have the setter, which would you be like what? What would the setter be? Let's see. The setter is
the player for sure.
Yeah, it would be like it would be one of like the main players. It would be the quarterback. Like, let's talk football.
Football.
The setter would be the quarterback. The closer would be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then the close is literally the touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally.
100%.
Having like the quarterback. I mean, you could DM close this as a setter.
Yeah, 100%.
Is why a setter could, like the quarterback,
can run it in.
Or,
Yep.
I mean, as a closer, I don't know if it would really fall under like a.
Yeah, I get the analogy for sure.
Exactly, because it definitely does all play.
Yeah,
like in the same aspect of you being in a sport and you just being in sales.
100%, bro.
Like as we said, like what you put in is your playtime.
Yeah,
like what you put in is the amount of work that you get handed to you.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm curious, bro. So right now you're triaging, and I know you want to get into closing now. And then you've been in multiple offers, right? And the next steps now for you, and what are the next steps for you now, and like what's the timeline you're thinking on this timeline?
So right now, I definitely think for me is definitely get on the off in an closing offer in the next like 30 days. Like there'd be no reason I don't land anything in the next 30 days.
That's fair.
On top of that, I definitely think that to be fully ramped up on a good closer position, like in those 30 days I could land something, but it might not be the right fit.
Right.
But I definitely think that in the next 90 to 120 days, I could definitely see that I'm on a solid offer where I know I can ramp up over the months.
Nice.
So that's where I see myself.
Okay. I know we've been talking for 40 minutes, but I got like 2 more questions, bro.
Yeah.
My first question for you is high ticket sales a scam?
No. I don't. You know who it would be for a scam? It would be a scam for those who don't know what investing in yourself is. Like if you've never done it and you've never, it's because bro, like
you do a scam, bro.
Every time I see that, it's because it's those that maybe they had a bad experience, and it happens because nowadays like there's a lot of people going online. There's a lot of new things online.
Yeah,
but then again, one bad experience shouldn't like completely cancel the whole thing out.
100%.
And high ticket sales, like I don't know what would make you think that it's a scam.
Yeah,
it could possibly be like all the like people on social media promising you that get rich quick scheme. Yeah, but this isn't.
100%, bro. And the main thing I always tell to the people is think about it as when the internet just came around, right? Oh, don't put your credit card there, right? Like don't store there, don't use it. And then Amazon came around, right? Like, oh, why would I could just go to the store.
Exactly.
That's a scam. I don't want my credit card to be stolen, right? And then eventually, whoever the first movers in the online space that started their own business in the online, they were the one who actually caught the wave early when everybody's saying it's a scam.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I see it right now. Yes, like it's a wild, wild west right now in the online space because it's not regulated.
Yeah.
But it's also the best time to get into it because the government's not really like, right now we're seeing people being more, the government's actually getting into it now because, yes, we're seeing scams, like business owners scamming certain people. But again, one bad apple doesn't make the entire industry a scam.
Exactly.
Right.
And another thing I could touch base on that as well is definitely the fact of if you think this business model is a scam, like you should think every business model is a scam because everywhere, like you go, like Walmart, like they're not selling you the best stuff. They're literally killing your body, yet you still go and shop there.
That's a good point.
There's everything. If you really think this is bad. If you're using the same basis you're using for high ticket sales as a scam, you should use it for everything. Yeah. Then where would you go at that point? You wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
Because I feel like every business model, it's not. I don't think there's no such thing. But I mean, there is such thing. But you also have to like be ethical with it because there is people out there that work on unethical stuff.
Yeah, bro. I wouldn't like avoid it, but like, there are offers out there that's like extreme, like sketchy as like I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't work with this offer just because like the way how they get the clients or like how they would do certain things. Like, okay, that just sounds like MLM to me, right? So it's like I wouldn't work with them. Like even though they offer me like a really good paying position, right? Like I wouldn't. Like it's just like against my entire ethical being on why I got into this space. So again, you got to take consideration of, you're not only, yes, you may make some money, but if you sell certain offers, you're selling your soul, right?
Yeah, literally. Like, let's put in for like OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's what I'm hinting, right?
Like, that's so unethical. Yet
a lot of people make money off of it.
And they make a lot of money, but is it the right way of making money? Like, when you like, if you have morals, like, whenever you do that, is that really like the right way to do things?
No,
me personally, I would never.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I remember, I know one of the closers, Homero's guys are. He was like, I got offered like a 15K a month base offer, but it's like a OnlyFans management offer, and it's like, nah, I couldn't. He was a follower of Christ.
Yeah,
like I couldn't do it. All right, so my last question for you, bro, is let's say someone's watching this video, bro, and I want to get started. I'm ready, and I want a guide, and they're thinking about joining the program, right? But they're kind of on the edge, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what would you tell them?
I would say take the step. Like, don't be scared. Like, the main reason you're gonna stay where you're at is because you're scared. And me, I don't know what was going on in my head when I was 17 years old about to pay what I ate, put the money down.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I'm honestly glad, because if I never took that step, I probably would have always just been consistently just saving videos. Yeah. And then going on with my day and never really going back to it. And I definitely think is, one, get some background on everything. Like, if you're 100%. Wanting to join our the Renaissance Closer, have a talk with Elijah, get to know him, and you'll see yourself whether or not this is something that you would want to get into or not.
100%.
Whether that be high ticket sales, anything in general, definitely just. And I wouldn't wait for you to wait for the perfect time.
There's no such thing as perfect time.
There's no such thing. You're gonna always find something okay, what if they don't provide this? What if they don't teach me this? Yeah. Everything is gonna have that. I mean, you're never gonna find something that. I mean, maybe, but I mean, I definitely think that it definitely comes down to the point of you just taking that step, getting yourself uncomfortable, to really excel to where you want to get. You're not gonna. Whatever monetary goals you have, whatever goals you have for your family, whatever goals you have for yourself, you're never gonna gain those goals, or you're never gonna get to those goals without risk.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And I think everything definitely comes back to just taking that step of risk.
1,000%.
And for those on the edge, I would say take the step. I mean, look at me. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know I'm gonna get to where I want to be, and that's just because it all started from that one thing, taking the risk. Yeah. And I mean, you can put in perspective of all the videos you see when you scroll, POV, you took the risk, and then they show all these things. Yeah. I mean, long term, that's where you could be if you really stick with it. Right. But then again, it's not a get rich quick scheme. Don't think that you're gonna get into high ticket sales and then you're gonna land a good offer
on the get go.
Yeah, on the get go. You're coming from somebody with no experience like me. I think it was 2.5 or maybe 3 months before I landed my first offer, and that was just because I would.
Again, it was it's not really 100% effort.
Yeah, it wasn't 100% effort at all. And on the contrary, if it was 100% effort, I definitely think I would have landed an offer in a month.
Yeah, I 100% believe that too, because when I transitioned into this space, I always tell the guys, bro, I landed my offer within the time I started reaching out. Yeah. Right? It's just because, again, the way I see investing into yourself is just putting a skin in the game. Mm-hmm. And the more you're comfortable on investing into yourself, the more you're going to get back. Right? It's the law of reciprocity. And then lastly, right, it's how can you collect thousands of dollars in a call if you've never, how can you tell someone that, hey, give me 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 on a call. Yeah. If you've never have invested into yourself a big amount of money. Exactly. To yourself. Exactly. So that's the main concept that I have understanding is okay, well, if I'm going to ask this to my clients and to people, why can't I ask it to myself, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it's funny. When I would invest, I don't even need a sales call. Just send me an invoice. Yeah, and I think that's definitely where I'm in the position now. I know how everything works. If I know that what I'm gonna invest in is gonna work, I'll do it. Without even needing to go
Like, I mean, although like sometimes those who you kind of shy away from the sales call, like you don't really like those type of people, but, but I mean, it's something like you get to the position where you know what it takes.
1,000%, bro. And again, it's like you're putting yourself out there, right? And if you're a complete beginner, obviously it's gonna be scary, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's normal. But yeah, bro, appreciate your time. Yeah. And again, you know, you're not your goals yet. We're gonna get you there.
Yeah, of course.
But again, on the perspective of an average person, or like, you know, someone who is a complete beginner, right? Like you're doing really well right now, bro. Like you're on track. And I think if you just remain consistent where you're at, and I'm confident bro, you're 19, bro.
I know. And I think
19. I'm not at your situation when I was 19, bro.
And that's you know, just before we end things off, I definitely think that getting into the space helped me. I don't know. I the way I see it is, it kind of not numb, but it made me. I'm glad that I'm the way I am now, because whenever like my family would say like, oh, you're doing like good, you've come, like my brothers, like the most successful brother I have.
Yeah.
He would tell me, he was like, oh, like compared to where I was at your age, I was literally making $750 an hour, blah blah. Like you're like way farther, and I felt to acknowledge that, but I think it's a good thing that I felt to acknowledge that, because
it's good.
If I didn't,
and you boast yourself up, right?
I would be like, oh, like I was way better from where you were at, like, and look where
there's more work. There's more work to do, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I know, and that's why I said I know where I'm gonna get, because I know what I have to do. Yeah. And I don't ever put myself over anybody, because I know. 100%. I'm not where like I want to be, I would never really put myself over anybody.
1,000%, bro.
Because I feel like that's just not the right way of doing.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you think of yourself and belittling somebody else when, like, you know, it's just not the right. Like, you were there at one point.
Yeah, you were there.
For me, speaking to you guys who are wanting to get into the space with zero experience, I mean, take my advice, like being literally just working 2 9-to-5 jobs, still in high school, and then just taking the step into just business in general after having no sales experience, no nothing. It definitely how could I say this? It definitely helped the fact and helped me realize that if you wanted to become an entrepreneur, like just get into entrepreneurship in general, that there's things to be done in order to get you there. Yeah,
100%. Because this is not going to be your first venture, right? This is your first stepping stone to getting into starting your own thing. Exactly. And even once you start your own business, that's not going to be the last. Exactly. Because if you would look at all the successful business owners, they've had multiple business ventures and a lot of them probably didn't work out, and one worked out, and all of a sudden they're overnight millionaires, right? Yep. So, but yeah, bro, again, appreciate you. You know, keep grinding it, keep crushing it. And if you guys are watching this, hope you guys find something valuable. And as always, be a creator, not a consumer. Create something today that will inspire others. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you, bro.